Zel Boy Army. It's your boy Zelonius, my beautiful, spicy friend back here, Mr. Ainsley Harriott. My word, we have a spicy video for you today. I was trying to think of a cool idea for a video that I don't think I've really seen on YouTube so far. Something I get asked about a lot on my Twitch streams, even in my YouTube comments. I see people constantly asking these type of questions on Twitter, is how to decide if an SBC is worth doing. SBCs quite often provide some of the best and most unique players in Ultimate Team. A lot of the time an SBC could provide the missing link to your team. It might give you a cool example of a card that you might not have had, or a player that you really wanted, like the flashback cards, player moment SBCs. They help provide you with cards that you might not have expected to be able to get. For example, right now we've got flashback Rooney out. Before then, if you was a Manchester United fan, Wayne Rooney fan, there wasn't really a viable version of him to use. So this video is going to answer all the questions that you guys might have, or maybe you not even thought about, that you need to consider when it comes to deciding, should I do an SBC? I really appreciate the support of the channel recently, boys. The growth considering we're in March is incredible to see. I'm trying my best to provide you guys with lots of great content, help you guys get better at the game, a variety of content. I've got my first ever player review of an SBC coming tomorrow. Really hope you enjoy it. I want to put a lot of effort into that. If there's any type of content you want to see or any specific videos, please let me know and I'll look to get them out. I'm always looking for content and videos that you guys are going to enjoy. If you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. I post a video every single weekday. Sometimes I put them on weekends as well. Appreciate the support of the channel, boys. Hope you enjoy this one. Okay, boys, here's my current team. One thing I'd like to know at the start of when I'm talking about how to decide if you want to do an SBC, some of the questions you might ask is, you can see my team already. Mendy, that's the Footmas one. Flashback Louise, Player Moments Lala, and Flashback Rooney. 4 of my starting 11 right now are SBCs. So I'm not just talking about SBCs as if I never do them myself. I do them quite a lot. Let's look in my club. Is there any other cards that I have that are SBCs? Got Kimmich. He's normally on my bench, but I'd mixed it around to do another video. Kimmich. I did Balassi, Simon, Battaglia. Yeah, those are the ones I've got left. So at the moment in my club, that's 5, 6, 7. Got 8 SBCs in my club. One of the SBCs that I used for a long time as well was PK's screen card. He had over 300 games for me. Boys, the questions you want to ask. Oh, what's this here? I've just seen this as live as I'm recording the video. It's a special bonus for the first weekend of FUT Player Days. That's the new promo coming out. And limited time objective group will offer bonus player picks. Oh, that's interesting. I've seen this on Twitter actually. That's pretty good. Good from EA to give us that. So squad building challenges, SBCs. Okay, these are some of the key questions that I think it's important to ask yourself. It might even be worth, if you like to do SBCs, writing some of these down, the list that I give you from this video, so when it comes to an SBC you can much easier decide how to make a decision on it. Should you be getting this player? If you have this little checklist, it might stop you making a foolish decision, or it might help you make a good decision that you might not have without looking at the actual facts. The first thing that I think is most important with any SBC is, what is the cost of the SBC? Instant way of being able to find that pretty quick. Don't do it 5 minutes after the SBCs come out. Wait 20 to 30 minutes for after the SBCs come out, and then go check a website like Futbin. Futbin is probably the best when it comes to checking SBC prices. The way they calculate the SBC prices, people do solutions for each part of the SBC, and then they quickly figure out how much that SBC costs. So right now, if I go to Futbin's website, let's check out this Aguero SBC. It's very easy to do. You can search the name of the SBC as well. Aguero's Player of the Month. How much is it? So the Aguero Player of the Month SBC right now costs 830k. That's how much it costs to do. You have to remember, you might have some tradables, cards already in your club, but roughly that SBC would cost you 830k coins to complete. Make sure you right click. You can, if you don't know this, you can right click on the card so you can check all his stats. So the 92 Aguero, 830k. You can check his stats on a website like Footwiz Footbin. The 91 Aguero, let's have a look what he cost. The 91 Aguero, tradable, so he's not much worse. Has like 1 less shooting, 2 less passing, 2 less pace, 1 less physical, 1 less dribbling. So the 91 Aguero, which is tradable card, is not much different to the 92. Is 360 grand tradable. So look at the cost of the SBC, but also compare him to other versions of him that might be available. This Aguero is 1 level better than a tradable version of him that's less than half the price. For me, that would instantly be a no for me. Why am I going to spend more than double the cost for a card, for an untradeable version of a card that there's only 1 rating less? That instantly would mean this Aguero for me is a no. I don't even have to consider anything else. The cost of the SBC should be the most important factor in how you make a decision, because ultimately, in Ultimate Team, coins are how you build your team. You don't want to waste a lot of coins on an SBC, that's just far too expensive. So compare him to other versions of him that might be on the market. You can maybe look at how likely he is to get in Team of the Weeks in forms. But yeah, Aguero, Player of the Month, the first one we see, instantly, I'm just not going to do him, because why am I going to do him when he's that much more expensive than his 91? Number 2, this is a really important one. I see so many people doing SBCs that they instantly regret afterwards because it doesn't link to their team. When you're looking at an SBC, think, how does it link to my team? So this Trezeguet, I'm an Aston Villa fan. I represent Roma, so obviously support Roma as well. But Aston Villa are an English team that I've supported for a long time. I'd like to do this card, but how is it going to link into my team? The only strong links you are going to get to this card are Salah, who I'm never going to use on the game because he's got 3-star weak foot. I only use 4-star or 5-star weak foot attackers, or Aston Villa players. Unfortunately, Aston Villa don't have that many good players on Ultimate Team. So, he's not going to get any strong links to my team. He's only going to get soft links by Premier League players. And ultimately, not many of the top teams are just one league. Most top teams, you use hybrids. So, how many strong links does the player have? If the player's very hard to link into your team, you have to really strongly consider, is the card worth it? For me, Wayne Rooney is hard to link into my team because his Championship, there's no strong links really in the Championship that I care much about. English icons, Rio might be the only one that's at a pro level pretty usable, and it's very hard to link Rooney into my team. But because I have an icon in the team, and I always will have at least one icon, I can get Rooney on 8 chemistry. So when I looked at the cost of him, about 200k, and linking in my team, it was worth the cost for how good that Rooney card was. Another part of does it link into my team is, will I have to change my team much? Is the card worth changing your team around? Is it that good? Don't get a card that you're going to have to do wholesale changes to your team. If it's not that big a card, it's not going to be that good a card, or you don't really care about him that much. Don't do SBCs just for the sake of it. That is the trap EA want you to fall into. Zelboy is here to help you. The next thing, how good is the player? Does the player fit the meta? What are the pros and cons of the player? I see so many cards that it feels like sometimes EA doing SBCs that look really good on paper, but they have such a glaring weakness, I don't want to do them. Bernardo Silva's Player Moments card has some unreal stats. The dribbling's fantastic, but the 3-star weak foot for me instantly made that card a no. I'm never doing a card that has 3-star weak foot. It's just not good enough for me. When I go back to my team, I will show you the SBCs in my club right now and explain the process on why I did them. And you can see how I answered the questions for myself. This Haaland card looks pretty good on paper. He's quick. He's decent on the ball for someone who's 6'4". Physically, he's a beast. 99 short pass, 99 curve. Really good shooting. But 3-star, it's just not good enough up front. Those cons instantly ruin that card. Don't do an SBC that's got such big weaknesses that he's just not going to be viable in game. In lots of my videos, I talk about what the meta is. I've got a video dedicated yesterday to what the top meta players are. I talk about what the meta is for each position, what you should be looking for. Go back and look at that if you don't think you have a good grasp of the meta, and this might help you in deciding on future SBCs, whether you should do them or not. 4, this is an important one. Will he fit into my team in a couple of months? So, okay, he might fit into your team today, but is it a card that you're going to spend a few $100K on that you think will definitely be in your team in a few months? If the card's an expensive one, I don't think you should be doing him unless you're pretty certain he's going to last in your team for a few months. We shouldn't be thinking we only buy or do cards that are going to last the rest of the year. Ultimately, Ultimate Team, FIFA, each year is a 1-year cycle. Get cards that you're going to have fun with, but if the card you think might only last a few days, don't waste a load of coins on it. 5, how much do I like the player? I do cards sometimes SBCs that I don't think necessarily fit my team, or all the questions that I've asked they don't really answer in a good way, but I just like the card. One of the cards that I did was Kimmich. I've literally got an emote on my stream, which if you've never watched one of my streams, by the way, link in the description below, make sure you get in there. I've got an emote for Kimmich called King Kimmich. I really like him in real life as a player. His card's pretty good, he's usable as a sub, but it wasn't that good value for me when I'm not going to use him in my team. But for me, I really like Kimmich as a player. I might not get a version of him that good until team of the season, so I did the SBC anyway. I wouldn't have spent 1,000,000 coins on him, but it cost me like 50 to 100K with what I had in the club. For me, for a card that I really loved, it was worth doing. So Wayne Rooney, if you loved him as a player, if he was a Man U fan, he's worth doing just for that. But you have to really balance all the questions in when it comes to it. And the last one, which a lot of people don't think about, is how long do I have to do the SBC? Don't start an SBC if you can't finish it, if it's not got long left, because there's nothing worse than doing a few parts of the SBC for it to run out. Make sure you keep a track of when it runs out. There's some really good SBCs like Hazard and Ramos that have no expiry date. They're quite elite cards that, if you can do them over time, will be really good. I tend to only do SBCs when I can do them instantly, when I can get them all done in one go, but a lot of people, that's not the way they do it. But don't ever make the mistake of doing part of the SBC but not completing it on time. Make sure you keep a track of that. Okay, to finish off the video, I'll show you the SBCs that I've done in my club, so you can see part of the process in how I decide the SBCs, whether I should do them or not. Okay, Wayne Rooney. Skill moves, not the best, but he plays at CDM for me, so the skill moves don't matter. His weak foot's very good for CDM, he's quick, his shooting's fantastic, he's very good passing, he's dribbling, he's very good on the ball, and physically, which you know, anyone who watches my videos will talk about aggression a lot, he has high aggression, he's just really well rounded for a CDM, so I love this card. I like Wayne Rooney as a player. It's cool to have this good a version of Wayne Rooney. We might not have him in Ultimate Team for much longer. I could link him into my team. He could be around in my team in a few months. At absolute worst, he'll be a very good impact sub. I didn't have that long to do the SBC, so I wanted to make sure I got him in time. But he fits the meta to a T, and for me, 200k for a CDM that, if he was on the market and he was playing in the Premier League or La Liga, he could cost over 1,000,000 coins, this card. He wouldn't cost that if he was on the market, tradable, playing in the Championship. But for me, because I could link him into the team, a card that might be worth 1,000,000 coins if he had the right links, etc., for me it was a bargain. So I was always going to do him. Lala, I'm not sure this was 100% the best decision by me, but when I look back at it, he's a strong link to Mbappe and quite a few good French players that I like from the French league, and he's coming quite useful. He's played over 100 games for me, and he's one of the best right backs I've used in the game this year. He fits the meta to a T at right back. He's got very good passing, he's good on the ball, very good physical stats, and he's quick. So I really like this card, and the links allow him to help me have more options when it comes to building my team, so he's coming useful. David Luiz, an elite centre-back who's Brazilian and Premier League. Very good links, fits the meta to a T, he's very good on the ball. And he's played 300 games basically for me in a month and a half. He'll last in my team maybe till the end of FIFA potentially. So this card, fantastic value. Footmas Mendy, this guy's played over 300 games for me. I used Mendy pretty much from the start of the game. Mendy's 80 card was unreal, But Footmas Mendy for me was a massive upgrade. It was plus 6 or 7 on some stats. It was on the left back that I was already using, and he has 5-star weak foot. This is the epitome of a meta player. Mendy has been used at events by pros, this Footmas card, when there's a team of the Robertson out. I love this card. He's La Liga, Real Madrid, French, very easy to link into teams. The SBC was a no-brainer for me. It wasn't cheap, especially for a fullback, but I've got value out of this card. Kolarov there, I did that as a Roma player. It's a cool card to have. Maybe isn't best value, but I don't think he was too bad, and it's a card that I'll enjoy using. What else do we have in the club? Kimmich, I explained. Player I really like, literally have an emote on my channel, so it's worth doing for that. Battaglia, for quite a while I think I used him. Over 100 games, probably cost 150k maybe. He's useful for linking Argentina. I used him in a qualifier. Very good card that fits the meta. A lot of pros used him. Simon was one I regretted a bit. He barely played for me, but he only cost like 20k. And on paper I thought he looked quite good. He didn't play as well as I expected. But for 20k, you can't really go wrong. 5-star weak foot. Looked very good. Sometimes you will do SBCs that you don't like a lot. Balassi. This card cost 20 to 30k. For me, it was a solid card when it came out. It wasn't near perfect, but with a chem style I managed to get the finishing up. But for me, for 20 to 30k, it was worth the risk for a card that had a lot of potential. If Sporting had won a few rounds in the Europa League, he could have been an unreal card that would have been worth a few $100,000. Sporting, alas, got knocked out very quickly, but it was a card that for me, it was worth the risk. For these type of cards, the road to the final ones, the live cards that might go up, you have to calculate, will they go further in the tournament? Could they be worth a lot? Ryan Kent was an SBC that I regretted not doing because he was so cheap, and he's ended up becoming a beast. If Rangers go even further, that card is going to be insane value. Boys, I hope this video has helped you decide in the future how you would build your team, how you would pick SBCs, decide if you're going to do them or not. This is my thought process when it comes to it. If there's any other things you think you might need to consider, please let me know in the comments in case I've missed them. But I think this is a pretty comprehensive guide on whether you should do an SBC or not. I hope you've enjoyed this video, boys. Make sure you check in tomorrow on my YouTube channel to check my review of a player SBC that I'm doing. First ever player review on the channel. Really hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a good evening.